Welcome to the garage. Today I have a tour from Nuke Performance with me, and today we're going to show you how to install the new Nuke Performance CFC unit into an aftermarket fuel cell. So we're going to show you step by step how to make everything ready, how we fit the pumps, how we fit the unit, and how we bolt it into the fuel cell. So let's go and see how it works. The first step, of course, is to remove the old ATL lid. So we're going to remove all the bolts and show you how it looks from the factory. So we're going to do that first and then take the next step. So now we got the lid out. We're going to remove the bolt pattern that's like a flange with all the
nut ring.
Yeah, the nut ring. The Swedish way.
Yeah.
So we're gonna remove those 4 hex bolts and remove it so we can get more space when we cut up the hole here. So this is the part that sits underneath here that actually holds the whole assembly together. So this has to come out before we put the new one in. So now we got the bolt, the nut ring out. Now we're going to take out the foam. This is going to be a bit sloppy because there's still some fuel in there, but we'll see how it goes. So we're going to try to get this out. Great success! Jag lossar att han kom.
Flyger inte. Du får bara.
I helvete! 4 år. This is going exactly like planned.
Okay. Let's open the box with the CFC unit. The first step is to take the gasket, if it doesn't stuck, help me out, thank you. We place the gasket here, the Nuke CFC gasket, place a couple of screws to secure the gasket, a couple, 2 or 3.
Or 5 or 6.
4. Yes, now we take a marker. Thank you.
We need 1 more. So now we have a guideline where we need to cut to make the CFC unit fit, because if you look at the CFC unit, we use all of the area that's inside of the bolt pattern. So that's why we have to cut this open to make this fit with the surge tank on it. So now we're gonna cut along this line to make the hole big enough to fit the unit, because as you can see now, we can't get it to fit down. So let's make the hole bigger.
Let's start.
cut the hole up. We're gonna see if the CFC unit fits, just to make sure. So yes, it seems to be good. All the hole lines up, and we have the little bit of clearance to make sure it can get the surge tank in. So now we're just gonna try to smooth out the edges a bit, and then we're gonna get all of the dust off and clean it out a bit, and then start to assemble everything. So yeah, let's go. Now we have smoothed out the edges and make sure we have nothing sharp left. So now we're gonna flush the gas tank, make sure it's super clean, and then we're gonna start to assemble the CFC unit. So let's clean it out again. And now we have the fuel cell all cleaned out again, so it's ready for the CFC unit. Now we're going to assemble the CFC unit and see how much space we need in the foam. So we're going to put on the surge tank and just get a feel for the amount of space we need. So let's do that. So here we got the foam. So my idea is that we're going to put it in like this, and this will be the surge tank's part, and this will be the feeder pump. So we're going to remove this whole section, and this we will only remove a part so we can get the fuel pump into the bottom. So we're going to cut off the parts we don't need and make it fit. So for this we're using a scissor because that's an easy way of getting this to split up.
So this is a really good tool. It's a snap-on. Så det är det next step. Så, let's do it.
So that should do it. So now we just have to clean out so we don't have any debris left from the cutting of the foam. We're going to remove as much as we can. Keep the small parts. So now we got the foam back in. It should look something like this. So this will be the big area where the surge tank will be, and this is for the feeder pump. So something like this. You can of course adjust it a bit because it's quite flexible. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So now we're gonna assemble the CFC unit with the fuel pumps and everything, and yeah, chuck it all in. The CFC unit comes pre-assembled with the rollover valve here, and the rollover valve as well for the direct filler neck. So you have a small gasket here. So we're gonna start with removing the tip over valve and mount the filler cap. So yeah. Now we're gonna install the direct filler neck. So we're gonna be using this gasket in between and then the lid. So we're gonna do this first. Put this over. Make sure you get the right line up. We recommend that you use Loctite for these bolts because you have a lot of vibrations inside the race car, so we're going to try to make sure this doesn't come loose. So now we're going to reinstall the tip over valve for the filler cap, and when you do this you should also put some Loctite on there to make sure it doesn't vibrate loose. So there we go, we have the direct filler cap mounted. So the next step will be to install the holders for the fuel pumps. So Tor is going to explain to you the different versions that comes along with the kit and how it's mounted.
We will start with the assembly of the DW400 fuel pumps inside the surge tank. The surge tank will be here. We will have dual DW400. We start with Loctite on this. This will hold the fuel pumps. You can run 1 or 2 fuel pumps. This bracket is for DW400. If you use smaller fuel pumps like 39 millimeters, you have the plastic inserts that's also included in the kit. This is for the fuel pump for the pickup. We're going to use a DW300 for the pickup. We use some Loctite on this as well. We're going to mount this one.
So as Tor said, we're going to be putting on the fuel pumps. We're going to start out with the DW300, that's going to be the feeder pump. We took a little bit of a smaller pump there because we don't need the high flow of the DW400 because we have the return line from the engine into the surge tank as well, so this is going to do just fine. We can look down here. So a pickup filter, cable connector, short hose and 2 clamps. Så det här är så jävla hårdare. Ja. God damn it. So there we go. And this is a DW300 pump. I'm going to put on the connector. This is a push-on filter. You just push it over there and you make sure it has the steering knob there. Push it on so you make sure it's stuck and good. Then you remove this protector, the fuel pump. And this is the fuel line that's supplied by Nuke Performance. It's going to go from the feeder pump inside to the surge tank. So you just push that on here. Like that. And then we have a clamp. And then, yeah, we need a screwdriver. So we're gonna tighten this one good, so make sure we don't have any leaks here. So that's good. Then we're gonna put over this clamp. Gonna tie this loosely before, so we can adjust the height depending on how deep the fuel cell is. Gotta tie it a little bit more, I guess. So just like that. And now it's time to take the DW400 pumps, and we're going to start with assembling one of the fuel pumps, and then we're going to measure how deep we have to go to make sure we go as deep as we can into the surge tank, to make sure we use all of the space inside the surge tank to minimize the chance of starvation. So as we mentioned earlier, we are running the DW400 as the main pumps, and two of these pumps combined will produce around, be able to run about 1600 horsepower. So, and that's on E85. One of the best things I love about these pumps, they're actually made from the factory for E85. So it's never failed me so far, and I'm really stoked about running these products. So now I'm gonna put on the filter as we did on the DW300, and make sure we measure out the distances. This can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but usually we are right. So if you hear a click, you know you're in. That's the filter. So we're just gonna put this in to make sure we have something to work with. Just gonna tighten it a little bit. And now we're gonna take the surge tank, and because we're measuring from this surface, so we can know how deep we want to go. So it's about 20 centimeters deep. So we would like to have that filter bag sitting at 20 centimeters. So we're pretty close, but we're going to move it up a little bit. Something like that. Should be good. Now we have found the height where we want the fuel pumps, and now we have to adjust the bracket and everything to line up with the outlets. But first we're going to put on the connectors for the hoses. So you have a little bit of a copper ring that's supplied in the CFC unit. So we're just going to put this on. Like that. So now we're gonna assemble the other DW400 pump. We're gonna adjust the mount to make sure they line up good with the connectors, and yeah, then we're gonna put the electrical wiring and surge tank on. So yeah, let's go. Now we have lined up the fuel pumps and tightened the hoses. As you can see here now, we're just putting the wires on here temporarily, just to make sure that it fits in the fuel cell before we do the wiring. So now we're gonna put on the surge tank and mount that. Bolts. This is just a test assembly now, so we're not using any Loctite now, but we will do that when we do the final assembly. So there we go. It's all put together. Now we're gonna test fit it into the fuel cell and see how it fits. Start off with measuring the depth of the tank, because the fuel cells differ a bit between the different sizes. So this we have 23 centimeters from the top here to the bottom. So we have already done this now, but we measured from this to the top, and this is exactly 23 centimeters. So we took the filter bag is laid down exactly at 23 centimeters. So now we're going to do a test fit and make sure everything clears the foam and everything. So there we go. Perfect. So now we're gonna take it all out again, do the wiring, put the what do you call it?
The nut ring.
The nut ring back, so we can tighten it, and also add the gasket in between. So, but first we're gonna do the wiring, as I said, and make sure everything is good. So, next step. Let's get it out and do some wiring. We're going to remove this so we don't have the fumes from all of the E85. So that's going to be good. Well, now we got it out again. We're going to remove the surge tank, and then we're going to start doing the wiring. So I brought my electrical box here, where I have all the connectors and stuff. So I'm going to be able to use it all correctly. But we'll start with taking off the surge tank. So there we go. So as you see now, I only put in the cables temporarily, as I told you before. So the feeder pump will simply be connected like this to the feeder pump connectors, and the same will go for the main pumps. So we're going to start with the feeder pump. So we're going to try to measure out the length. See if I can find the tube. Here it is. So we're gonna just see that we set them correctly. So we have minus is that one. So we're just gonna shorten this to a decent length. So let's say there. That's good. Then we're gonna take this there. There we go. Then we can get this out of here. Crack the filters. Then we're just gonna get those peeled. Oh, there we go. Some blood is always good. So now we're gonna get the connectors on. One of the things I always do when I do this is that I remove these yellow ones, because I purely aesthetical, looks better. So this is nothing you have to do, it's just something I always do. But so I always remove these. So these are the ones connectors that are going to sit on the inside of the fuel cell and outside as well later. But so I'm just going to take these off. Now we're gonna put this on, just crimp them on here, and we're gonna put some soldering on it. I always do that so it's phase safe. Also an extra thing that might not be used, something you have to do, but I always do it. So yeah, we're gonna speed this part up so you see it. So now they're crimped, and now it's time to put some soldering. See if this is hot enough. So now we're just putting the connectors on. I'm gonna tighten all at the same time later. So that's the feeder pump done, and now we're gonna head over and do the DW400 pumps, the main pumps instead. So, third connector here is the negative one, as I told you. So we're gonna do it, both of the black ones there. So we're gonna put this away a bit first to make them go this way. So it shows them to go around the holder here to make sure we get a good angle on the cables. So I'm just gonna try to find where the cable are pretty loose and still have enough tension to make it a good installation. I'm gonna take them around there, I think. And then we have the plus one. I'm gonna take something like that. And the last one. So we can have it there. So probably gonna try to at least crimp these and in the same spot, because it's easy to mix them up when you take off the connectors. So now we have all the connectors soldered, and now we're just gonna let them cool off a bit, and then we're gonna put those in and get the connectors on again and tighten all the connector points. And then it's pretty much done for final assembly, so that's good. Let's see if we can fit this in here. That's one. Make sure you separate them good enough so it's no risk of getting a short circuit. one. And there we go. So now it's all wired up and done. So now we're going to just make sure everything sits tight, and then we're going to put on the surge tank again, tighten that as well with some Loctite, and then we're going to put it in the gas tank again. So that's one of the final steps. I have tightened all of the bolts, felt over all of the different brackets. I also added a small zip tie here in steel to hold the hose up. Make sure you don't use the plastic one, because I don't think they can take the E85, but this will. This is a stainless steel one. Yeah, so that's good. Now we're going to put on the surge tank, tighten that with some Loctite, and then it's time to put it in the fuel cell. So always make sure you don't have any debris inside of here. This looks good. So there we go. Get some Loctite on here. So there we go. Assembled and ready to go into the fuel cell. So yeah. And it's awesome to finally see the final product in our hands, so it's going to be nice. So let's get the fuel cell and start mounting the CFC unit. Well, now it's finally done to put everything together for the last time. So this is the bolt flange, nut ring, like Tour said yesterday. So we're just gonna fit this in here, get it to line up. There. Take these small ones. Be quite tricky, huh? There we go. So now we got the bolt flange in, or the thread flange. Now we're going to put on the gasket. Just align them with the holes, and then it's time to get the complete CFC unit in. So as I told you, we checked all over the bolts and make sure every one of them are tight. So now it's just time to get it in for the final time. It's a bit tricky here on the feeder pump, because that's one of the tighter spots. So I got it in there. Get the gasket in place as well. It's like we're stuck on something. Oh, there we go. So just adjust it to line up properly. So now it's in, and we're gonna put all the bolts on for the lid. So we're gonna speed this up with a time lapse. Well, that's it. Now it's mounted and it's almost done. Now it's just the dash 10 and the dash 8 connectors on the inlet and outlet of the fuel cell. So I'm gonna put this on. So these are supplied in the package as well. Just put them over here and put them in the machining there. And there we go. So that's how you install the CFC unit into a aftermarket fuel cell like this ATL fuel cell. They differ a bit between the different brands, and if you don't want to do all of this cutting and stuff from your fuel cell, Nuke Performance offers a Pyrotech fuel cell that fits this completely right in. It's a lighter weight option. It's also a bladder instead of the foam setup. So it's a really good fuel cell. I will probably change to that next year, but this year we'll be running this, and this was an opportunity to show you how to install it correctly in one of the different brands. So thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.